This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple pledges relief in the face of Los Angeles fires, news and anecdotes around Apple hardware, and a surprising promo for the Apple TV Plus series Severance. It is Friday, the 10th of January, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. As fires rage in and around Los Angeles, Apple CEO Tim Cook has pledged his company's support. By midday Thursday, the Los Angeles Times indicated that roughly 28,000 acres had burned in two of the county's largest 5 or 6 ongoing fires. Thursday estimates put the number of homes damaged or destroyed by those two fires at roughly 2,000, a number that seems likely to grow. Then we get to the businesses, schools, and other buildings affected. Then we get to the other fires and the damage they have done or are doing. In the midst of the continuing disaster, Apple CEO put a pair of posts on Twitter saying, "The devastation caused by the fires in Los Angeles is heartbreaking. Thank you to the incredible firefighters, first responders, and all those assisting for your heroic efforts. Apple will be donating to support the victims and recovery efforts on the ground. To our teams in Los Angeles and all those affected by the devastating Palisades fire, we're thinking of you. Please take precautions and stay safe." More immediate than the Apple CEO's pledge, it looks like Apple Card holders directly affected by the LA fires can apply to put off their next payment without incurring penalty. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman hit Twitter with that news on Thursday afternoon. His short message, Apple and Goldman allowing Apple Card users impacted by the fires in LA to postpone payments, accompanied a screenshot of a letter apparently sent to Apple Card customers. According to that letter, people with current or past addresses in the declared natural disaster zone may be eligible for assistance. Successful applicants will be able to skip the payment due in the month they enroll. No interest will accrue for that month, though standard interest will pick up again the following month. If your account is in good standing, the message says it will remain current while enrolled. The message encourages would-be applicants to contact Apple Card support via messages to start the ball enrolling. If you lost your smartphone, how long would it take you to replace it? If you're an iPhone owner, a new survey says probably 48 hours or less. Consumer Intelligence Research Partners, or CIRP, posted a piece this week on Apple device repair or replacement. According to their post, over 80% of iPhone buyers would replace or repair a lost or broken device within a day or two. Almost half would do it the same day. Numbers are said to be similar for the Mac. The firm says 70% of survey respondents would repair or replace a broken or lost machine within a day or two, though only about a third said they would deal with it same day. And what of the device between Apple's phone and Apple's computer? iPad is not as mission critical, apparently. CIRP says only 58% of iPad buyers would replace or repair their iPad immediately or within the first couple of days. That said, if you widen the time frame, almost everybody would replace or repair their lost or broken Apple thing in relatively short order. Give them a week, and CIRP says 96% of iPhone owners responding to the survey would repair or replace, along with 89% of Mac owners and 85% for iPad. The good news for the PC industry, shipments were up a bit last year and a bit more last quarter. That is according to preliminary numbers from IDC. For Apple, they were up more than the industry as a whole last year and up a lot more last quarter. By the market tracker's count, global shipments of personal computers were up 1% in 2024 versus 2023. For the December quarter, they were up 1.8% versus the same quarter a year earlier. The Mac did much better, up 4.5% in 2024 versus 2023, and up a crazy-sounding 17.3% last quarter versus the December quarter of 2023. Crazy sounding until you put it into context. The piece from Cult of Mac did that, pointing out that Apple had an easy compare because 2023 was relatively weak. No new Macs debuted that quarter, but Apple launched multiple new models during the fourth quarter of 24, leading to increased Mac shipments. The M4-based MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, and iMac all debuted last quarter. As for the market as a whole and the road ahead, the prognosticators at IDC almost seem to want to pass. Quoting the firm's post, the approaching administration change in the U.S., along with the threat of new and increased tariffs, have elevated the level of concern across the industry, with some brands looking to get ahead of what is essentially uncertainty. Supply-side research showed some pull-in during December, largely from those brands that have limited manufacturing capacity outside of China, presumably as a preventative measure around U.S. tariffs on goods made in China. So far, IDC says this movement has been relatively minimal. Get past it, though, and they still seem kind of split. For the past year, IDC has been excited over AI PCs. They still think that's going to happen, though the uncertainty around tariffs and the incoming U.S. administration may delay that. Delay, not destroy. Ryan Reith, Group VP at IDC's Worldwide Device Tracker, says in the release, when the industry is trying to push new AI PCs that come with a higher cost at a time when use cases are still being vetted and budgets are tight, that is certainly going to be a challenge. But on-device AI for PCs is inevitable, says Reith. Therefore, right now it's about suppliers trying to be patient as their customers are dealing with headwinds unrelated to these technology advancements. Apple and Google have been fined in Brazil over an app found in their respective app stores. Not surprisingly, the Silicon Valley companies are arguing against paying. At issue, the apparent privacy nightmare that is FaceApp. 9to5Mac has a judge in Brazil finding the two companies 19 million real, about $3.1 million US. That's because the companies contributed to allowing the app to improperly collect data from its users. According to the report, the judge believes that the photo editor app violates the Brazilian Civil Rights Framework for the Internet, a law that regulates the use of the Internet and digital platforms in the country. Under Brazilian law, platforms are prohibited from massive and improper collection of personal data without users' consent. Apart from not complying with the law, the app also doesn't provide terms of use and privacy policy translated into Portuguese. Wouldn't you think that would be important in a country whose national and official language is Portuguese? On top of the $3.1 million, the piece says the judge wants the two companies to pay $82 US to each person in Brazil who downloaded the app since June of 2020. Both Apple and Google argue that they're not responsible for what the app does. Yeah, maybe not totally, but the judge does see some culpability for the Silicon Valley firms. 9to5Mac has him noting both companies play an active role in the consumer chain, providing infrastructure and conditions for the operation of FaceApp. He believes that Apple and Google contributed to the app infringing Brazilian laws. It's back to school time in Australia, Brazil, New Zealand, and South Korea, and Apple's offering a promo for it. A piece from Apple Insider says the Cupertino company is offering qualified education customers a pair of AirPods 4 with a qualifying purchase. Between now and the 13th of March, the report says buyers in Apple's higher education store can get a free pair of AirPods 4 with active noise cancellation when buying an iMac, MacBook Pro, or MacBook Air. Students, lecturers, and staff at accredited institutions can also get a pair of AirPods Pro 2 or AirPods Pro Max instead. While those will not be free, the piece says Apple will subtract the price of the AirPods 4 as part of the offer. And finally today, a somewhat surprising move from Apple TV Plus. Ahead of the second season of Severance, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says the first season is being offered for free on the Roku channel. Cupertino streamers apparently going where the heat is, with more than 90 million users. The piece says the Roku channel is one of the largest destinations of free streaming video content. This is the first time Apple TV Plus has offered any of its shows on a free third-party streaming platform, according to 9 to 5 Mac, and they do seem to be hitting it hard. In addition to the first season episodes, Roku channel viewers will have access to a season 2 preview, behind-the-scenes footage, and, well, here's a shock, a 3-month trial of Apple TV Plus. While the Severance streaming is notable, it is also very limited time. Season 1 will leave the Roku channel on Sunday, the 19th of January. Season 2 of Severance starts its run on Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 17th. This week on the checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac, we're looking at Salt Typhoon cleanup by Big Red and the Death Star. Both Verizon and AT&T say they have sent the bad guys packing from their networks. We'll tell you more. Plus, the U.S. government has a new trust label for Internet of Things things. We'll look at all of that on checklist number 406, Less Salt, More Logos. Find it today at securemac.com/checklist or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Can, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Leonard likes this post.